Alrighty, welcome to this video. In this tutorial, we're going to kind of continue this project, but I'm going to show you a couple other things that are pretty cool to know. Custom cursors, these are kind of hokey, but it's good to know how to do them, just in case of one day maybe you need it and maybe your client would want you to do it. Who knows? Okay. The next thing we're going to do is fonts, how to embed fonts and use them. So in the last video, I talked about, let's go to it, let's run it. So when we open this site, see the text is squishing, and maybe we don't want that because it kind of becomes unreadable when that happens. So I talked about getting rid of it in Photoshop and then putting it in the code, and that's what we'll do. And once we do that, we'll apply a font to it as well, like a font that we like and that we think works well. And then also, if you didn't catch it at the end of the video, you can see as I'm scrolling, that's not moving like it was before. That's because in the CSS, I did position fixed instead of absolute. So that was my bad. Sorry, guys. I'll say. Okay, so we're going to come in here. We're going to hide these, and we'll resave it out. Let's see. We're going to save this as JPEG, I think, is what it was. Yep, so we'll just save it over. Okay, we can bump that up a little bit more. We're good with 48. That makes me happy, so we hit OK. So now when we come into the images, we can see the text is gone. So if we come back here and refresh, the text should be gone as well. All right, so now we're going to add the text using HTML and divs and embedding a font. So it'll make it look a little bit better when we squish it down. So to do that, we're going to come in here and, excuse me. Man, love it when I can't talk. So we have the images. So I'm going to get rid of this because I'm going to put it in as a background. You know what? Hold on. Nah, let's keep it there. That's okay. Because we're probably going to need that so it'll still squish down like it's supposed to. But that's alright. So we'll grab the code. But we are probably going to have to give this a background banner. We'll have to probably say something like position absolute top 0 left 0. Let's double check to make sure. See if that worked the way we want it to. Kinda worked. Let's try relative instead. Again, this is just fun when you're playing around to see. I think that's what we really wanted there. Okay. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we play around. Okay, so we have that. So now we're going to come in here and put in some divs. So div, I'll give it a class of T1 for text1. Close it out. And then I'll give another div and I'll give it a class of T2. And we'll throw that in there. Now we're just going to type it in. So what did I have? Water is good. Right, I think, right? Water is good. Yep. Right. Water is good, and then use it wisely down in here. It's getting a little hard to read. Hold on. I'm going to put these on different lines. Okay, so use it wisely, ... Don't want a capital U there. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I don't know. We'll play around with it. We'll see what it does. Okay, so we got the banner. I'm just going to start styling it right here. T1. And then dot T2. We'll say position. Absolute might work on this one on what we want. So top 50 pixels, left 50 pixels. Okay, so we've done that, and right now I'm going to say color white so we can at least see it and see what it looks like. All right, so water is good up there. Now, because it's liquid, we don't really care about this, and if it's always on the top 50, left 50, we don't care because as we squish it, that's fine. We could even say percentages. We could say top 5%, and that would probably make it a little more liquid on what we want. Get rid of the PX. All right, so let's make that a little bit further from the top, and then a little bit further from the left. All right, so then as we go, you know, it's pretty good for what we want here. All right, and then we're going to do kind of something similar with this one. So I'm going to copy and paste that. And then we'll say right. Well, right's going to be the 8%. And then top, we're probably going to want to set pixel value on this one. So we'll go 200 pixels and we'll see what that looks like. So as we move it, it'll move with it, but it'll always be that far from the top. But I want it further down, so let's go like 300. Nope, way too far, so 250-ish. Yeah, that looks okay. So this is what we're starting to do. Instead of having it on the actual picture, we're putting it on the banner using divs and using positions. So, and I could probably do the same thing here, to be honest. Do kind of the 50 pixels, and we're good. So it'll always be that far from the top. Okay. And like you saw, the position absolute allowed us to put it on top, where when we didn't have that before, it didn't let us. Okay, I don't like that percentage. So let's just go 60 pixels. If you're hearing a vacuum, yeah, I guess we have a clean house. So. I'll just say that. That's why you hear a vacuum. Okay, so 7%. There we go. Boom. I don't know. I guess percentage is okay. We'll keep it. Anyways, sorry to be crazy here. So now we need these to be bigger. We want them to have a different font, maybe a different color, even though I kind of like white. I think white works. So we're going to go to Google Fonts. Google rules the world. Google does everything. So I'm going to come here, and I'm just going to pick a font that I think would work with this site. You can just scroll down. There's all kinds of different categories. Okay, there's thickness, width, all this stuff. So I'm going to try to find one that's kind of professional, that kind of would work in a site like this. These are all free. You can use as much. You can use them as much as you want. I don't know. There's just so many, and they all kind of look the same too. That one kind of looks cool, I guess. Nunito is what it's called. No. Does this ever end? This might be one of those that just kind of scrolls forever. Those are always fun. Yeah, we'll just go with this. Quicksand sounds great. So once you find the one that you want, you're going to click here where it says Quick Use. And this is going to give you the code that you need. So I'm going to say bold. I don't want normal. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go to this add import. And what this does is it imports the font file that we need to be able to then call the font and use it. So I'm going to throw this on top of my CSS file. It doesn't have to be on top. It just makes sense because it's an import statement, but I could put it down at the bottom and it would still work. So this file is just saying import this file at this URL, and here's the font file here, this Quicksand. And then when I want to use it, I come down here and I use font family Quicksand. So I'm going to copy that. So I want to use it on these T1s, and I want to use it on T2. So that's all you got to do is you import the font file so it can then use it, and it's being stored on Google's site. So yes, if Google's site goes down, this won't work. But you know, it's Google and they have all these server farms and stuff. Probably isn't going to happen. So we're going to import that, come down here, and then the font family is called Quicksand. And what this says is use Quicksand, but if Quicksand doesn't exist, then default back to a sans serif font. Okay, something that doesn't have all the squiggly stuff on it. All right, so let's take a look, see what it looks like. All right, so it worked, but now it's just too small, but that's easy to fix. We can say font-size, and then we can start defining how big we want it to be. I can say 55 pixels. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of the font here, but that's okay. I can go back and fix that later. We'll make that left 5%. So now we're just going to make some little tweaks just to make sure it kind of does what we want. So water is good. It shoots down. That's okay with me. If I wanted water and then I have is good on the next line, I could come over to the HTML and I can say a little break tag there. So water is good if I want to do that. So it's on the other line anyways. Doesn't really matter. Okay, then the use it wisely, T2. We're going to kind of do the same thing, but we don't want it to be as big because remember it was kind of subtext. So we'll make it like 35. And again, it's just playing around, seeing what works, what looks good, what doesn't. But that was a really long way of showing you how to embed a font. But that's another way to do things, is you can have a banner, and also the good things is this is actually text, where before it was pixels. Inside of Photoshop, when I had it on here, these were pixels. A search engine couldn't read that this says water is good, use it wisely. But a search engine could here realize that, oh, this says water is good and use it wisely. Okay, this must be a site about water or something like that. So something to know there. Okay, now I'm going to do a water droplet. I'm just going to grab one real quick. Sure, that looks amazing. Copy the image, bring it over here. Of course it did that. Why wouldn't it do that? I got to download it. So save image as, we'll call it droplet. Sometimes when you copy and paste from the web, it does some weird stuff. So I'm just going to open it this way. And look, for some reason it worked that time. Kind of weird. So I'm going to use this as a custom cursor. So to do that, I'm going to style the whole HTML page. In other words, anything that's inside the HTML page will be styled with this amazing custom cursor. So to do it, you just say cursor, :URL, and then wherever the URL or wherever that cursor is in relationship to the CSS file. So it is in, so the CSS file is here, so we have to go up a folder and then inside of images and load droplet. But I'm actually going to change this. I'm going to call it cursor. I don't like the uppercase there. I'm going to make it lowercase. So // images / cursor .png. Now in a perfect world, this would work. We don't live in a perfect world. This thing is way too big. So we got to shrink it down. The browser, when it says, oh, he wants to use this custom cursor, and then it looks at it and goes, whoa, this thing is way too big, people. Then it kind of freaks out and it doesn't really let you. So I'm making it smaller here. It might let us with this size. We'll see. We may have to make it a little bit smaller. It all depends. Okay, so there we go. Oh, wait, I have to do something. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Cursor, CSS. I have to define something after it. I think something like that. If not, I'm going to look real quick and cheat. Because you have to tell it what to do if that cursor doesn't work. Nope. It might be auto. Yeah, I'm going to have to cheat. Sorry, guys. I got one over here that works. So I totally forgot what I put in there. Okay, yeah, I just had it messed up a little bit there. So go back. Just needed that outside. See, it's tough to remember everything all the time. So maybe this will work. We'll see. There we go. So there's my cursor. It's custom. I can go around. But now when I click, it changes to the other stuff. But because I put it on the whole HTML, because I styled the whole HTML, it works. So anyways, that's how you do the custom cursors. Fun stuff. That's how you do the fonts over here at Google Fonts. Even though I didn't really like that font very much, but that's easy enough to change. But anyways, guys, hope that helped. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you later.